made a mistake on number 5. I actually made 2 mistakes. So the first mistake was on the original solution that I gave you guys, and then I just made another mistake, so I'm starting my recording again. So ignore everything I just scribbled out. So the mistake I made on the first solution was how much money will Ben have after his 10th lap? Okay, so on this, we need to calculate the 10th term of our geometric sequence, okay? Because each time Ben will earn 8% of his money back, but each of those terms is going to be what he has on that particular time he passed go. So in the original solution, I wrote out the geometric, the equation for the sum of a geometric series. So I took the first time Ben passed go, and then I added that to the amount of money Ben would get on the second time he passed go, to the third time, fourth time, all the way out to the 10th time. That is incorrect, okay? We should be looking at just the particular term. So this was like S sub 10, which is not what we wanted. We want U sub 10, okay? How much Ben had on his 10th term, not the sum of money he would have gotten if we added together every single term, okay? So this is what we want right here. So we're gonna redo part B of this problem and recalculate it, and then that will require us to redo part C as well. So in part, and maybe part C will be a little bit more interesting. Okay, so for Ben, we are looking for U sub 10, okay? And it's a geometric series, so I'm going to have my U1 times R to the 10 minus 1, okay? My U1 is 100. My R is going to be 1.08, okay? And again, this is because I want to take what I already had, so that's why I'm multiplying by 1 here, because 1 gives me what I already started with, and then I'm multiplying it by the 0.08 and combining those two things. So that's why I have 1.08 right here as my rate, and then I want to put that to the 10 minus 1 power, which is 9. And so then when we calculate this value, we should have 100 times 1.08 to the 9th power, and this will give us $199.90. So 109.90, okay, is how much he made after the 10th lap. And so if you think about it, you take 100 and multiply it by just 1.08, add 8% more, that's only $108. Okay, so it takes us 10 turns to get all the way. Oh, sorry, y'all can't see. Right, so this is like after our first turn. It takes us 10 turns to get all the way to 100. Oh, that's why this is weird. This should be 199. I'm very sorry, not 109. Okay, so I felt like that was small. So again, that's 199.90. Okay, so that is how much Ben has made after his 10th lap. Okay, now it says identify the type of sequence. There was a question about why Anne was arithmetic, why Ben was geometric. So Anne just adds or gets $15 every turn. Okay, so the amount of money that she increases by is the same every single turn. We are adding the same number. The key word is adding, so that's why this is arithmetic. And then Ben is geometric because we are taking 8% of what he has in the previous turn and then adding that to his next turn. So we have to take 8% of each term, which requires multiplying. That is why this is geometric. Okay. Now it asks how many laps with the students. This is what it's supposed to say, will the students have to take for Ben to have more money? then and provide justification. So we would do the same thing we did last time. We want to figure out when Ben is going to be bigger than Ann. Okay. So, but so the question that was asked, Emma G, thank you, was why did we use like the single term for Ann, but the sum for Ben? And so we should have used the single term for both. We do have the single term for Ann, and the single term for Ann is going to be U1 plus N minus 1 times 15. The single term for Ben is U1 times R, which is our 1.08 to the N minus 1. Okay, obviously this is really difficult to do algebraically, so we don't want to play with that. So we're going to go ahead and put each of those sides into our calculator. So, and we should probably fill in our U1. So 100, 1.08, N minus 1, 100, N minus 1, and then 15. Okay. So now we only have our variable N. So I'm going to type in 100, 1.08 to the x minus 1. And then in the y2 section, I'm going to type in 100 plus x minus 1 times 15. Okay. And I want to graph those. And I'm going to look for when the first one graphed, this is Ben. I want to see when that is bigger than the second one graphed, which is Ann. I'm going to have to like make my Y max a lot bigger. So I'm going to go up to 500, make this 100 just so we don't have a super thick line. See what happens. I might need to make my X values shorter so that I like squeeze in the window. Okay, so I can see this here and I should squeeze in my window. I'm gonna make this 50. Okay. There's Ben. Here's Ann. So notice that they start off at the same place. And then the straight line is Ann. Ann's line is linear. Ben's curve is exponential. Okay. So Ann, they start at the same place, 100. Ann is above Ben until this intersection point right here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out this graph. Okay, so we have Ben, then we have Ann. Ooh. They meet here on the y-axis at 100. Okay, and this point right here, this intersection point is where Ben starts to earn more money than Ann. So we need to figure out that particular X value. That X value corresponds to the N value right here. So I'm going to do second calc, go down to intersect. It's going to ask for my first curve, my second curve, and then it's going to ask me to guess. And I want to actually move my cursor up towards the point where I think it is, because down here, obviously, they're going to be equal because they both start with 100. So sorry. They both start with $100. That's not interesting. We want to figure out what it is when they've gone and taken turns. So it's going to be 16.7. So that means if I choose, so remember that N has to be a whole number, okay? So if I choose N equals 16, I'm going to get a value where Ann is bigger than Ben, okay? Because it takes all the way until 16.7 for them to be exactly equal. This means that we have to wait until N is 17 for Ben to be bigger than Ann, or to have more money than Ann. Okay, so N equals 17 should be your correct answer. Draw out this picture to show your solution. Write out this expression so that we can see, right, that you used your GDC. Oops, I can't even. GDC. And then you can even write out a little written explanation. Let's see. This piece would have been 2 marks. This makes much more sense for 2 marks in my opinion because it was not a lot of work. You would get +1 for your method, which would include this and some sort of picture or a written explanation. And then right here, you would get +1 for your answer and equals 17. Again, I apologize for my incorrect answers. And I'll put everything new on the screen so that you guys can just pause it and take a look at the new solution. All right, thanks guys, and I'm sorry about that.